Hey, Kathy.
Hi, Christy.
It's good to see you and be back at doing these GOBrecs.
I know.
I love
Have we
them.
done? Have we done one
Not in a long time. And this is like a little Christmas present to ourselves.
It is. These are one of our favorite episodes because this is just pretty much a conversation we would have anyway.
Yeah.
But we love sharing books that we're each reading that's not related to the podcast.
Yes. Yeah. And actually, mine is not even crime fiction this week.
Mine
time.
isn't either. I think it's the first time.
I know. And you know what? I thought, we should have done a Christmas one, but I didn't even do that.
No, me either.
But you can put it under the tree as a gift, or
for sure.
Yeah. Whichever form you do.
Yeah. I do love these. I love these episodes. We've just been so busy doing everything else. We kind of got off track.
I know. And now it's kind of dark out because it's kind of a little bit later, but how's the blizzard going? Is it blizzarding?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're just we kind of had the whole upper Midwest has gotten hit this week, and we got an ice storm, and now we're just kind of waiting for the blizzard to come in. So, yeah. It's
I don't understand how a blizzard is different than a hurricane.
It's not really. It's honestly, it is. It's so funny. They were just discussing it the other day on the news, and I thought, that's just like a hurricane because it's sustained winds. It's got to be winds for a period of time, and it's got to be snow and all these different. But it's very much just like a hurricane. Just this is a bad one. My lights were flickering all day because we had gotten so much freezing rain, and then it just weighs on all the electrical poles and trees, and so I don't snow. I'll have snow any day over ice for sure. That'd be my preference. But we got both. So your daughter's coming home soon.
I know. I'm so excited. She's coming home and comes out the morning she should be waking up right there.
Oh.
Because she comes in at midnight the night before on Thursday night. And so I'm just very, very excited that she's going to be here. And
what kind of jet lag will she have? I mean, I would imagine significant.
Yeah, she's young. Who cares? We'll see. Yeah. I'm sure she'll use it to her advantage, sorry, can't do that. I'm a little jet lagged, Mom. They'll be like, I've got all these plans.
Yeah. Are you having a little cocktail right now, by the way? I am having a little wine.
Yes, I am. And I did. I did switch to red.
Mm-hmm. I am having a Zinfandel, which is very nice.
I'm having a cab.
Well, let's get to our books. You want to start with yours?
Okay, you go start. No. You start.
Okay. So like you said, I'm not doing a thriller or a mystery. That's still my favorite genre by far, always has been. But I'm doing a romance book, and I am doing Marie Force is the author's name. She's wildly successful. I'm going to show you one of her books here.
Oh,
she is a indie author. She's a little bit of a hybrid where she had some books at Harlequin and other places. Mm-hmm. But she has bought them all back. Actually, she's gotten all of her rights reverted. She has sold 12 million copies of her books.
Oh my gosh. And that one, which one, what is that one? Or is that the one we're going to talk about?
Made for Love.
Made for Love.
And I'll get to this in a sec. But I want to tell you about how I heard of her.
Okay.
I had told you, we did an episode with Jasmine Guillory earlier this season.
Yeah.
Because I kind of recently have gotten into romance, and I've never really been a romance reader. I know you have been.
Yeah, but I kind of went away from it. But now I'm sort of getting back just because, we started doing more, and then it's just so nice,
It's such a fun.
Yeah.
I also really enjoyed. We've done 2 episodes with an author who does romance and thriller. Yeah, so I was kind of fascinated when we talked to Ashley Winstead, and she said that this is last year when we had her on for her thriller, and she's like, my next book's actually a romance. And I thought, I kind of love that, right? That seems... So all these things have kind of been piling up. And this summer I was listening to a podcast I listened to. It's a book publishing podcast, an indie book publishing podcast, and they interviewed Marie Force. And I just had seen, I subscribed to the podcast, and I just really fell in love with her. She's just funny, and she's someone you and I would just love to have a glass of wine with, I think. And just super uber prolific in the last handful of years, like 10 years. So when I went to Washington this summer, I downloaded a bunch of her books. So she has mini series, but this is the first book in the Gansett Island series, it's called. And she just published her 25th book in that series.
How do you write 93 books? That's just amazing.
Since 2010. And 12 million copies sold. Like, she's just incredibly successful. So she lives in Rhode Island, off Block Island. And so this Gansett Island is kind of her version of Block Island. Mm-hmm. But here's what I love about it. It's like an extended family series. So it starts out with like the son coming home. Mm-hmm. And he, the romance is with a woman who's a single mom, and she is not.
She's the maid, because it's MAID on the cover.
And she has no time for any foolery, right? She's got a small child. She's got a job, lots of issues. He's kind of known as a playboy. He's coming back home to the parents, and they have this wonderful romance. But in this, you get introduced to his entire extended family who live on Gansett Island. And so, like, number 2 in the series is like a relative or a friend. And so the romance continues, but it's this whole community and family. And I'm hooked. I am. Yeah,
that is so fun.
It certainly is not without drama, and there's lots of really good backstory, like subplots. But I do like a happily ever after ending. For now, happy for now, I would say they're called.
Yeah.
But it's called the McCarthy family, so you kind of get introduced to side characters, right? And then the next in the series will be about their romance, and so it kind of checks back.
Well, do you recommend that you have to read all of them, or do you just say, okay, pick up wherever you want?
I absolutely think you could pick up wherever. I'm plowing through. I really like it, and I just am amazed. Her fans are incredibly dedicated to her, so much so that she has reader weekends. She has for years, and people come to her reader weekends that she hosts.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No, I'm not. It's a whole thing. It is absolutely incredible. I'm just super impressed with her as an author.
Yeah.
But I also love the books. Like, I just completely love reading them. It's a total escape.
Well, I'm excited. I'm so glad because I always want to get new ones when I'm like, on my Kindle, especially because, I wake up in the night and I'm like, okay, if I'm not reading crime fiction for, thing, I mean, let me have something that gives me happy dreams right after I read it.
I do think it's a little bit less jarring maybe to read in the middle of the night. Because, I love a dark thriller.
Oh yeah. But then I keep reading because I'm like, I can't go to bed right now.
Right. Right. So anyway, that's what I'm kind of binging on right now is Marie Force's Gansett Island series.
Okay, so if you were to have a book club, what would you guys be imbibing and ingesting?
Well, I'll tell you, there is a lot of wine and food in romance. There's a lot more wine and food in romance than there is in thrillers because, like Jeffrey Deaver's on a ticking clock, right? They don't have time to eat. Where in a romance, they're enjoying themselves, they're having meals, so that's kind of fun. But I'm picking this based upon this time of year. Mm-hmm. If I was having a book club this time of year, I always would do appetizers because I just love easy appetizers. Mm-hmm. And I would do a cranberry martini.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I thought that sounded kind of fun. And I'm making cranberry martinis for...
I was going to say, what do you use?
Oh, no. I'm sorry. Not martini, margarita. Sorry.
Okay, well, either one sounds good.
I
actually.
Know, but...
So do you use like cranberry juice? Or do you use actual cranberries? Mm-hmm. Both?
Yes.
Wow.
Like... I would do those candied cranberries, where you put a little bit like of lemon juice on it or You can do liquor.
All right. So are you going to put that in our newsletter for a recipe?
Well, I can make one. I don't have a recipe. I just make it up as I go.
Well, that's what you have to write it down.
Yeah,
that's even more incredible because it will be an original recipe.
Well, I don't know about that, I'm sure, but I
want to know it too, in case I might have some kind of holiday thing, because that sounds really interesting.
On Christmas or like Thanksgiving, I do like to have. I mean, we do have the bar set up or whatever, but I do like to have a group
signature cocktail or something. Yeah.
What do you got? I'm curious to hear what you're reading. That's not crime fiction.
So mine is like I said, like we are saying, mine is called Lessons in Chemistry.
That's an excellent cover.
And you would think, okay, lessons in chemistry. Okay, yeah, Christie, chemistry major, boring. She's just, but it's a bestseller, and everybody likes it.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, so there you go. And it is, I just really, really enjoyed it. It follows this one female chemist in the 60s. Okay, so that's when people were like, you can't be a chemist, and that kind of thing. And so thankfully I wasn't around during then, but I mean, it's come a long way, but not all the way still probably. But she was she's very beautiful. But she is just single-mindedly chemistry focused. She's not no nonsense, she doesn't have a lot of humor, and she ends up getting a job at this institute where she's going to be doing, and it's like physics kind of stuff and chemistry and all this stuff. And so she and the main chemist at that, he's Nobel Prize nominated, also a little bit eccentric, everybody's like, steer clear of him. He's got grudges, but he was just like this, lanky kind of young. He was like a brilliant young chemist. Both of them have amazing backstories, but they fall in love. And then I'm not going to give anything away, but she does find herself where she has to survive on her own and, with all the obstacles. And she ends up being a single mother and star of this cooking show called Supper at 6, right?
That's hilarious.
I know. And in the thing, she actually makes her kitchen into a lab at one point before she was even doing that, just because she wanted to continue this chemical research that she was doing. And, she couldn't stay where she was. So she was doing it on her own. And she just kind of falls into it. But I mean, I feel like there's this one little bit, like, I don't know, it's a cooking thing. So you could have anything at the book club.
Yeah.
But I just found this one part where she said, after you rubbed your steak with halved cloves of fresh garlic, Elizabeth said a few minutes later, and she's doing this on the show, sprinkle both sides of the meat with sodium chloride and piperine. Then, when you notice the butter foaming, she pointed to a hot cast iron skillet, place the steak in the pan. Be sure and wait until the butter foams. Foam indicates that the butter's water content has boiled away. This is critical because now the steak can cook in lipids rather than absorb H2O. So every time she does her cooking show, she gives a chemistry lesson to all these housewives in, the 60s.
For genre, is it like humorous? Is it, what would you say?
I would say that it's, I think it's just, that's a good question, because it's humor. The humor is quirky. Mm-hmm. So it does have humor.
Yeah.
The characters are very quirky. But it also has a lot of social messages,
Yeah.
And there is drama. People, die. People, there's horrible things that happen to her that she has to deal with. And it's set in the 60s, so it's historical, in that sense. So I think the final description, laugh out loud, funny, shrewdly observant, and studded with a dazzling cast of supporting characters. It's an original and vibrant so it's really fun. And the author is just seems really fun too. Like she's a copywriter and a creative director, but she's worked in a lot of other fields, technology, medicine, education. She's an open water swimmer, a rower, a mother of two. Now she lives in London, but she, was in California and Seattle. And so you can see all these little bits of her eclectic life in these characters, and just
that's really interesting.
I just found it was a fun book, a fun ride. I thought, I just wanted to see what was going to happen. I wanted to keep reading. So
what turned you onto the book?
So this is funny. I used to be years and years ago, we had a book club. One of my friends started it, and that was, I don't know, 20 years ago or something. But anyway, we, there's remnants, me and that one friend and another friend of ours and another friend. So there's 4 of us that are kind of still in contact. And one of them said, let's do the book club again and read this book. So I was like, okay, because they were all 3 of them are science, teachers, and so and since I had the science background, so I said sure, I'd love that, and of course we can't find a time when we can all meet yet, so
of course,
but that's what turned me onto it, and so I was like, oh my gosh, this is fun. So
I will put it on my list. It sounds great.
Yes, and the wine, because they weren't drinking a lot of wine back then. In the 60s, I don't think there was a lot of wine out there. They had their cocktails and made fun how the wives would make the husband cocktails when they came home. But I liked this wine. It's a rosé, and it's
pretty.
called La Belle Angèle. And it's a famous character of the early 20th century, known for her beauty and joie de vivre. But
perfect match then for
the chemist. That's what I thought.
I love that.
Yep.
Love it. Well, this has been fun. I'm glad we got back to this again.
Yes.
I always love doing this.
Yes, I know.
And Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. Hope everybody has a good time. Happy Hanukkah if you've just celebrated that.
Yes, for sure.
And happy reading.
Yeah.
And read happy.
Read happy.
All right. Cheers.
Okay. Till next time.